The Commonwealth has accused Karen Read of striking her boyfriend, Boston police officer John O'Keefe, with her car after a night of drinking and leaving him in the snow to die. The defense is saying, as they said in their opening statement, that Karen Read was framed and this is all a cover-up. As we're at the morning recess of day 26 of the Commonwealth versus Karen Read, we have just finished up the cross-examination of Trooper Paul, the accident reconstruction expert, which was less fiery, but more painful than I think we anticipated from watching the testimony on Friday at voir dire. The judge did not allow this expert to get into an opinion about the video of Karen's car backing into John O'Keefe's car. So that was kept out. Lally got in some general information that he may be able to argue, but the crux of this cross-examination really was that, one, the key cycles don't seem to account for all of the times the car would have been turned off and on and moved. The defense asked very pointedly, wouldn't this key cycle showing the accelerating backwards or reversing backwards at a high rate of speed, wouldn't that be when Trooper Proctor had control of the vehicle? But it seemed that this witness doesn't know what causes a key cycle to record, and that the only way they have key cycles recorded is because of a triggering event, but he doesn't also seem to know what causes a triggering event to record in that Toyota TechStream software. This witness did not testify at all about any other data from Karen Read's car, any of the GPS data, any of the type of things we've seen in other cases. And as far as his reconstruction, it really does seem that he was trying to truly fit, well, this is where the victim was, because that's what I was told. This is where the pieces of taillight were, because that's what I was told. And this is the broken car, and she hit him with the car, and that's what I was told. So this is how that accident would have happened. It would have been a sideswipe, and he would have spun, and his arm shattered the taillight and then got scratches on it from that motion. But he kept saying that's one possibility during cross-examination. Well, if there are multiple possibilities, I think that that necessarily indicates that there is doubt as to whether or not this is exactly what happened to the victim, because he kept saying it. It is very difficult reconstruction testimony because this witness just simply does not know. And that is really frustrating to watch go on and on and on, that this is the Commonwealth's expert that is supposed to make clear how things happened. And again, it has not made anything clear except that this was beyond, I think, the scope of this expert's knowledge and experience. The state has their 65th witness on the stand, who is from Celebrate. The Celebrate witness is explaining, again, Jen McCabe's Google search, why the Safari tab time at 2:27 a.m. would extract in a Celebrate report showing the last known search and showing deleted when he says there's nothing in the history database to show it was user deleted. That is the core of his testimony. I am sure the defense experts will disagree with it, but the core of his testimony is whenever you open and pull up from the background that browser tab in Safari, it will show the timestamp of the tab activity, then the searches are later, and the databases show the searches at 6:23 and 6:24 a.m. Why does that matter as to what happened to John O'Keefe? It goes to the defense's theory, because if Jen McCabe was Googling how long to die in the cold at 2:27 a.m., doesn't it indicate something else happened to John O'Keefe? So it's very important to the Commonwealth, it seems, to head that off. I wish we saw the Commonwealth focusing as much on how they think Karen Read's vehicle hit John O'Keefe, but we finished with their vehicle reconstruction expert, and that testimony was not clear to me. Because there are so many questions, and because the data we got from the Toyota service app that they downloaded was based on when the cycling of turning the car off and on is, there isn't GPS data from the car. And if there is, they don't have it. So is that going to be reliable for a jury? I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see till we get to the end of the state's case, which it should be soon. We're at the end of the day on trial day 26th, and it's clear that the judge is struggling with the schedule here. It is Monday, June 17th, Tuesday, the jury will not be present. Wednesday is a federal holiday for Juneteenth. The current witness on the stand who did cell phone extractions for the victim's and defendant's phone is in the middle of direct examination and will not resume that direct examination until Thursday. That witness was just starting to get into text messages and call logs between Karen Read and John O'Keefe, Karen Read and others. We have heard that Karen Read made 53 calls to John O'Keefe in the early morning hours of January 29th. We have not gotten back into that testimony yet. We've also gotten into text messages where Karen and John are arguing over text over something that had happened in the morning of January 28th, and it seems like an argument over the kids, and that is consistent with other testimony that we've heard, and they are back and forth over text, and she is trying to call him, and he is saying, the kids are here, please stop calling, and they are bickering over text message about the state of their relationship, how they move forward. And both of them are expressing that they are each individually struggling and seem to be struggling as a couple. So then there's text messages about, are you coming to CF McCarthy's? Yeah, I'll be there in a minute. I've got a plumber coming. I figured you'd be staying in Canton. So John O'Keefe is texting Karen Read, I figured you'd be staying in Canton until Monday, and they're talking a bit about the snowstorm. So that's what's happening as we leave testimony. What happens tomorrow? First, I will let you know in the Law Nerd app when I am going live. I'm not sure what time they are starting voir dire in the morning. Voir dire is questioning witnesses outside the presence of the jury. So these witnesses, like we saw in Murdaugh, are going to testify direct and cross-examination to see what their testimony will be and if it's allowed in. The prosecution made a motion to exclude a number of these witnesses, so the court is going to evaluate their testimony and then decide, probably later, what of their testimony will come in. I think most of these witnesses will be allowed in. It seems particularly two of these witnesses were hired in the federal investigation of this case, not hired by the defense. And then those reports were turned over to the prosecution and the defense said, we're using these witnesses, thanks so much. And the state's like, I don't know any more about this. And the defense is like, we don't either. We're all going to find out together. So we're all going to learn together what's going on with the defense witnesses. The prosecution has not rested their case. They are in the middle of a witness, but these defense witnesses are coming in from out of state, and it's very important to the court scheduling. So the jurors get a 2-day break on Tuesday and Wednesday. We will be here together Tuesday for that voir dire at whatever time it starts. I will let you know. Everyone will have a federal holiday on Wednesday. Thursday, fingers crossed, the state's going to rest their case. Fingers crossed. For deep dives into the stories that I covered here, you can find them on my YouTube channel at The Emily D. Baker and The Emily Show podcast. I stream every Tuesday and Thursday. The podcast goes live on Wednesdays. And if you want to stay in the loop with everything I'm doing, receive the fastest notifications out there, and get more Law Nerd community, join me at lawnerdapp.com, our free app for iOS and Android.